Today we're going to go ahead and talk about how to use the insect glaive. Not only am I going to talk about how to use the insect glaive, but I'm going to give you guys some skills that you can implement into your builds to make using the insect glaive a lot better. Now, by no means is this a build video, so don't take this as a build video. You have to use what I use, but I'm just going to recommend a few things for you. So without further ado, let's stop wasting time and get right into it. So to start us off, we're just going to go over the basic ground attacks that you can do with this weapon. So you got your basic combos, which is your light attack. These they come out fairly quickly, but they don't do a lot of damage. And followed by the light attack, you're gonna go ahead and have your heavier hitting combos. They take a little bit longer to come out, but they do a lot more damage. So most likely you'll be using the heavy attacks to really dish out your damage. Segueing right into that, we're gonna go ahead and talk about aerial combat. So the first thing is you have your vault or your jump into the air with your insect glaive. When you do this, you have a few different things you can do as you're in the air. You can vault and dodge, which will just send you in whatever direction you're looking, or you can vault light attack, or you can vault heavy attack. Later on, and I'll show you about the clutch claw, but for now, we'll just be talking about those ones. So with the insect glaive, you probably want to stay in the air most of the time, especially since most of the monsters in this game are pretty large. The smaller monsters you don't really want to be in the air too much, just because you won't really hit them too often if you're in the air the whole time. So you have options with this weapon. The biggest part of this weapon is the insect extracts. You want to make sure you're getting your extracts as much as you can because each extract gives you a different type of buff. The red buff here um, will change your combos. They'll give you more attacks in each combo. So as you see, the light attack is a lot different, and then your heavy attacks are fairly different as well. Not only that, it changes your aerial combat too. So as you see, that spinning downwards is your light attack in the air, and then your spin forward move, whatever you want to call that, is your heavy attack in the air. Now, if you want to stay in the air, it's your heavy attack. As long as you hit the last hit on the heavy attack, you'll stay in the air. You can also combo that with your light attack, which is the spin downward. Now, the spin downward light attack has a pretty high chance of mounting, or it builds up the mount effect. Because it's like a status effect type of deal. Your light attack builds that up pretty quick. Now, your white insect. Your white insect increases your jump height. That's really all to it. But the jump height definitely does make a difference, especially when you're fighting larger monsters, and also helps you when it comes to staying in the air as long as possible. So, with the increased height, you'll be able to do your heavy attack and go ahead and start back the vault again from the top, or from a higher elevation than you would if you didn't have the white buff. So white buff is for jump height. Now another attack you can do is what you just seen on screen. You jump in the air and then you dive down. Now this attack doesn't change whether you have extracts or not. It's the same either way it goes, but this will be your highest damage per or for one hit. So when you jump in the air and you dive down, you'll get your max damage, and that'll be your highest damage for one hit with the insect glaive. Now the orange buff. The orange buff is essentially like poise. So if you've played like Dark Souls or any game of that nature, poise is more like think of it like stagger resistance type of deal. In this game, it just prevents some knockbacks. Um, it won't prevent all of the knockbacks, so you could still get punched out the air. So just be careful when you're using this. You're not invincible when you have this, but it definitely does aid um, with some of the smaller attacks, some of the ones that shouldn't knock you out the air, but it still does. It'll help you negate that as long as you have the orange buff. Now, me personally, I think the Insect Glaive has to be my favorite weapon in Monster Hunter. It's just super flashy. I love the combat you get with it. I can choose to pick aerial combat, or I can do ground combat like all the other weapons. It's such an amazing weapon in my opinion, and it is a lot to keep up with. I will say that. Keeping up the extracts and then re-getting the extracts, and if you don't have the extracts, your DPS kind of drops a little bit. So, but so we're gonna be looking at the clutch claw now. So you can insta grapple onto a monster by jumping into the air and pressing your slinger button. Unlike some of the other weapons in this game, where you can do a clutch claw attack like in a combo, how it insta wounds like the dual blades, the insect glaive doesn't insta wound. It just allows you to just grapple onto them. Um, I will say sometimes though the accuracy of your clutch claw is a little bit difficult to actually pull off. Like let's say you want to do this to soften the head. Uh, it's a little bit difficult sometimes, especially because the monsters move quite a bit. So sometimes you might hook onto the same part like 3 times over again. Um, but it's an option. It's still there for you to do. I do notice that it definitely helps if you're fighting monsters with wings, because then you can instantly hop on them and you'll always grab a wing, and then you can soften that up, and most of the time you'll be hitting the back and the wings anyways. So, but yeah, so that's the insect glaives mechanics. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the skills that I was talking about that you should probably be running. Now, for me, I'm using the softies weapon, just because I like the versatility with it. It may not be the highest with damage. Well, it's not the highest with damage, but I do like the versatility. Sometimes I go and re-roll some stuff off to change some things up, mess around with some builds. So I really enjoy it. I have it augmented for health boost because I put health boost on everything, or health regen. My apologies, and a little bit of attack. So it isn't the best, but I really do enjoy it. I am running Fatalis. Like I said, this isn't a build video, so you don't have to run what I'm running. I'm just running the Fatalis gear because it gives me the most decoration slots. But some of the things that I think you should always be running actually is earplugs. You want earplugs 5 all the time with your insect glaives. Just because roars can knock you out of the air 10 times out of 10, and it's quite frustrating sometimes. You also want to run Power Prolonger to help your buff stay up a little bit longer. Um, Stun resistance is always nice too, because you don't want to get hit out of the air and then you're stunned. You get hit out of the air, take the damage, and then you're stunned on the floor and then die. So stun resistance is a nice quality of life. It isn't a must have, but it's a nice quality of life. Now, the Master Mounter, the Airborne, and the Jump Master and stuff like that, those are skills that they activate quite frequently with the Insect Glaive, especially Airborne, because all your attacks as you're in the air benefit from Airborne. So I would definitely say that Master Mounter also is just a plus, because let's say you get your red extract, and obviously your white extract for quality of life. You jump in the air and you press your light attack, and it does the spin downwards. That has a pretty good chance to mount. The most I've mounted in one fight was probably like 4 times on Ruiner Nergigante. So you can mount a lot. And I'm using the charm for this. You don't have to run this charm, but I'm running this charm for Master Mounter and Jump Master. Jump Master also does what the orange extract does. It prevents knockbacks while you're airborne. So those are just some quality of life skills that you can run with the insect glaive, and obviously the rest you want to go for. you want your critical eyes and stuff like that. Weakness exploit. I don't know how valuable weakness exploit really is, but because you'll be in the, if you use the aerial combat a lot more, you won't be in the air too often. Or you won't be hitting weak spots too often. I mean, you can get the bonus from softening them, but it's up to you. But yeah, earplugs, power prolonger, stun resistance, and at least airborne. If you don't want to run the charm I'm running, you don't have to. Like I said, this isn't a build video. But yeah. So what I'm about to do now is just play some gameplay in the back so you can see the weapon in action. Um, I just went to the Guiding Lands and this was a tempered monster, so I was like, all right, whatever, let's just go fight it real quick. This definitely isn't a difficult monster in the slightest, but I'm just here to showcase the weapon in action and its movesets and stuff. I'm not here to make a video on fighting the hardest monster, so with all that being said, I'm gonna just let you guys go ahead and watch the rest of this. You can see me trying to utilize everything that the Insect Glaive has to offer. So with all that being said, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Please like the video, subscribe if you're feeling frisky, if you like the content. It helps me out. It helps me grow as a starter YouTuber, and I really appreciate it.